it's quite possible you've heard of the heroic moment, but you've probably never heard of the mercy moment because I made it up. I'm Father Mark Mary with the Franciscan Friars of the Renewal, and this is Ascension Presents. If you've been around the Catholic circle for a while, you may have heard of the heroic moment. We kind of talk about it. Some spiritual writers write about it. And the heroic moment is like that moment, that first moment of the day when your alarm goes off. Like, do you jump out of bed? Like, do you get up first thing and get going? Or do you kind of lay around, snooze once, twice, 3 times, and kind of get off to a sluggish start? And the reason that the heroic moment is emphasized and proposed as a good thing to do is that we want to get a win with our wills like as early as possible. We want to get an active discipline in as early as possible just to make sure we're heading in the right direction, that we're spiraling upwards and not downward spiraling with like our will and our decision making. It's called a heroic moment though because it's actually like really hard to do for a lot of people, including myself. And there's a reason that every alarm clock in the world that I know of comes with a snooze button, because human beings love to snooze, and getting out of bed is an act of discipline and it's difficult. So the problem is this though, is like because it's difficult, because there's something heroic to it, especially doing it every day, if you don't get that win early in the morning, like, and you're trying for it, and you get a loss, like there's a possibility that loss, like, okay, choosing the easier decision in that moment is going to lead you to choose the easier in another moment, and another moment, and another moment, and you're just going to have like kind of a lazy, like slothful, undisciplined day. And that's in trouble because our passions and our emotions and our attractions tend towards the easy pleasure, which is often sinful. And so part of our choosing discipleship, part of our choosing to follow Christ is through discipline, right? Without discipline, there's no discipleship. There's no discipleship without discipline. We have to take up our daily crosses. We have to get our wills engaged as early as possible. Okay, so if we are struggling with the heroic moment, is there hope? And my proposal, what the Lord's invited me into, and I'm inviting you into, is what I call the mercy moment, which might feel mundane, but stick with me, it's making your bed. And I know I'm not the first person to talk about it. I know in sort of secular spheres, some other people emphasize the importance, the healthiness, the value of making your bed. But it's an easier win than the heroic moment. It's a lot easier to make your bed once you're already up than to get up. And so what I like about it for me is that like if I didn't get up right when the alarm clock went off, okay, I still have this second chance, this moment of mercy to engage, to do an act of discipline, to come intentionally and with direction and control into my day, into my life. First of all, I do think it's important to recognize that our decision making tends to be cyclical. There tends to be like, if we're getting wins in one area of our lives, we're going to get wins in other areas of our life. If we're studying well, we're probably going to be exercising well, we're probably going to be praying well, etc. But if we are getting, like we're procrastinating, we're not doing our schoolwork, we're not getting up early, or we're not getting what we need to be, we're just kind of lounging around, watching TV, scrolling, whatever, like there tends to be a downward spiral. And so what I like about the mercy moment and the heroic moment is it's just like a very intentional starting place. Like we're gonna get a win right here, and that win is gonna bear fruit in other areas of our lives. And like really, like, can making your bed have like an effect on your spiritual life? Yeah, I really think it does. I really think it does. For me, we have our first prayers at 6 o'clock, and those go to 6:15. So, and then we have an hour or so of meditation. And when I go back, first thing I do is just tighten up my room, my bed. It's like I kind of live like I'm camping, so it only takes like 90 seconds. But that's what I do, and that like gets me in a place of like, okay, I'm here, I'm engaging, and that bears fruit in my time of meditation. And now that I've prayed well and I've engaged my will well there, like when I'm with the brothers and there's an opportunity to do somebody else's dishes, there's an opportunity to volunteer to be the guy who gets the door when the bell rings, like my momentum, my inertia is going in that direction, and so I'm more likely to do it. And so again, like for you, like if you can't make that heroic moment, if you can make your bed, right? And then maybe have some time of prayer. and like you're going in the right direction. And then like you do your dishes right after having breakfast, and then like you just make these decisions, and you keep winning, and you practice this discipleship, this discipline, this virtue. It's going to bear fruit in your relationships, at your work, school, sports team, prayer, all of that. And then secondly, it's just like a reminder of human nature, that we don't just tend actually towards that which is easy, or we try and kind of avoid any effort at all. And I came across this when I was the food dude in Honduras. Food dude's the friar who's the dude in charge of the food. We're gonna talk about the pineapple problem and the Tupperware trouble. If you're a parent or you've ever had a pineapple in the house or whatever like that, like as long as the pineapple is like full, almost nobody's gonna touch it. But if you take like the 90 seconds to cut up that pineapple and then put it out like that, it goes almost instantly. The thing is that like people see the pineapple, it's like, okay, it's gonna be a little bit of work for me to eat it. And so we don't do it. And it's not because it's a lot of work, it's just because it's some work. And so we want to like pay attention to that capacity that we have. The Tupperware trouble is like in our friaries in Central America, particularly to sort of protect our food from mice or anything like that. We often leave food in Tupperware, right? And so I just remember it's like how often one of the brothers would like, instead of putting something inside of the Tupperware, they would just like put it on top of the Tupperware. Why? Because it was like a little bit of work to like pull it out, lift it up, put the other thing in. It would probably take 20 seconds, but it's work. And so we have a capacity to not want to do any work, put in any effort at all. But if we live like that, like that's not man fully alive. Like discipleship takes a little bit of work, and picking up our crosses daily takes a little bit of work, and it involves a very conscious and free choice to do that which is difficult, a very free and intentional choice to choose the good, even though it requires effort. You and I are made to put in effort in our lives, in our discipleships, our relationships, and all that sort of stuff. But we have to choose it. So in summary of this, without discipline, there's not going to be discipleship. We have a tendency to want to do that which requires like zero effort, but that's not Christian. And to follow Christ, it's going to require some discipline and some effort, right? A great win, a classic place to try and get a win is by waking up first thing in the morning as soon as your alarm clock goes off. We want to work on that. But if you're not there, like a mercy moment, an opportunity to get a second chance and still an early win, it's just making your bed. I encourage you to give it a shot. And if you can do it for like 90 days, just pay attention. I really think you'll experience a new level of freedom in your relationships and in your choices that you haven't done before. It's a super easy win that bears huge fruit. My brothers and sisters, make your bed. All right, thanks for watching. Remember, we're pilgrims on this earth, somos peregrinos. Poco a poco, little by little, we're gonna make it. Peace.